Well, I'm proud. I'm back on track. If you know, you know. But yeah, welcome to this episode of Monthly Review. And yes, this is a monthly review, no quarter review, monthly. And we are going to talk about the best releases in July 2025. So stick around because this is going to be a really good one. So in July I reviewed a ton of music and I have a list of everything that I've reviewed, but I'm not going to talk about everything, otherwise this episode would never ever end, and we all know that we don't have the time to be here infinitum, basically waiting for myself to wrap up talking about the music that I enjoyed, because July was actually a pretty good month. And also I dived into a couple of releases from earlier this year that I had yet to check, and I'm pleasantly surprised with some. So we are going to talk about those in a bit. First release that we are going to talk about in July, and this one was kind of an interesting one. I thought it was a full EP because it is labeled as an EP on Spotify, but it is not an EP. You are not going to call an EP a CD that has 2 songs and 3 instrumentals. Taking into account that one of the instrumentals is an anime version of one of the songs, and the other 2 are the respective instrumentals to the 2 new songs that are in the CD. So it is an extended single, if anything, not an EP, which is a mini album. Mini album requires 5 new songs, not instrumentals within there. But yeah, this is me being a slightly pedantic because it is not labeled correctly. But yeah, I reviewed Gakuto Kajiwara's Junjou, and honestly I was missing Kajiwara's music a lot. It's been a while since I last heard his music, and honestly I like that carefree sort of indie rock vibe with a nostalgic undertone and simplistic things going on. The guitars are simple, the drums are simple, the bass is simple, the vocals are simple. Nothing needs to be over the top. It doesn't need to do much to actually impress. So this works pretty well with Gakuto Kajiwara, and he has an amazing voice, so he can do whatever he wants there because it will suit his voice regardless. Junjou is a really solid release. I'm not going to say it is the best because it's not the best of his, but it is a really solid, fun release with tons of nostalgia going on. I love the vibe of this specific CD in this case. I'm juggling here with the term EP because it's not an EP. But yeah, I have the review here in front of me. And the title track, Junjou, is really melancholic. And I feel that this is something that is really common about this music up until now, is that he's really melancholic in the way that he approaches the themes, and the sound that he brings will always have that nostalgic undertone. And I like this. Some people may not enjoy that too much, but I actually like to have that sense of wonder about the past, of how good the times were before and how different they are right now. So I like this sort of melancholy that he brings to his music, and Junjou actually brings that a lot. One thing that I loved a whole lot across this CD in specific, and I'm not talking about one song or the other, is the bass lines. The bass lines are massive in this CD. As you may already know, I love a really good bass line. The deeper and the funkier, the best for me. And he has tons of that in this CD. It is something that really moves the songs forward, keeps them really interesting, and has that groove that will make you want to bob your head or shuffle along or dance along if you want to, or if you know how to. But yeah, you have that vibe, and Junjou actually, the song, captures that pretty well and has a really fun sound at its core. One thing that I labeled here, and I'm seeing my notes, is that this is a song with a really youthful rock sound, let's say, almost akin to what Sowara does. If you are familiar with Sowara from the Tsuki Pro franchise, the 2D group and the 2D franchise, you will know what I'm talking about. His sound is really reminiscent of that youthful vibe that is kind of nostalgic, I will say nostalgic because I'm no longer a kid, so that will be nostalgic for me because that's something that really makes me think about my teens, which is something that is almost 20 years ago. So yeah, then we have Inferno. I like the song. I feel that this is the best song in this release in specific. The song is not necessarily too different from the title track, but there's something, that's an element of chaos in the song that I really enjoyed a whole lot, and I felt that I needed this kind of unpredictability, craziness going on, and seeing how composed Kajiwara usually is as a performer, I like to see these moments in which there's a bit of chaos in his music. It has a really interesting layer of fun and energy to a song that is already pretty fun, but usually his music is all about the vibes. It's relaxing in a way, sort of, let's say the nostalgia will make you stop and think and reflect about things. You will never think about having tons of energy and being all over the place, being chaotic and actually drain you as a result. But this song Inferno actually captures all of that, and I feel it is a really, really fun song. One thing that I love a whole lot, and this is something that differentiates Junjou to basically Inferno. Inferno has a really solid vocal performance. Not to say that the title track doesn't have, it has. But I really felt more connected with this song because there's more variety on the vocal end. Not only is using the midtones, but he's also belting the notes and he's actually bringing a ton of falsetto. It's a really fun performance with tons of variety. I feel that no one is going to be bored about the rhythm of the song and as well as the progression of it, because it basically keeps things interesting. So I was really pleasantly surprised with Junjou, the newest single/EP by Gakuto Kajiwara. It's a really fun one. It's Kajiwara, he sings amazingly, so that was never a question. The sound is what you are used to. It's not that laid-back, mature sound that I was enjoying a couple of CDs ago, which I feel we lacked a little bit in here. But it is a return to his roots, per se, basically. It's basically that. He's going back to the sound that he started with, and he's running with it. I hope that we get something more mature, more jazz-inspired or loungier in the next CD release, hopefully. But it was not a bad release, honestly. It was fun. But of course it didn't top the next one that we are going to talk about, of course. And that one is going to be... I'm already smiling, and you may already be seeing that CD there. Let's bring it to the spotlight. We're going to talk about Streak by Shoya Chiba. Of course we are going to talk about that. This was the top release for me in July, honestly. I was not expecting the CD to drop in July, honestly, because I was not following the news. But you already know, I already update you all about the fact that I was not present for a while on the website and here on the channel. Although the podcast episodes were dropping, I was not following the news, so the contents were completely different from what was happening in the news. I was not aware that Streak was going to drop in July. I pre-ordered it in January, I feel, when it was announced. And then I thought maybe it's going to drop later in the year. Somehow I forgot when the CD was going to drop. So yeah, the CD dropped in July and it was amazing. One thing that I said that I was really worried, and I talked about this in the unboxing video. In case you have checked the unboxing video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, I welcome you to watch that unboxing video. If you pause this video, you can go to that, or you can wait for this video to wrap up and you can go check the unboxing. It's a really fast one, I feel, and you go over all the content that is inside of that deluxe version that I have. With the Blu-ray and the photo book, which is amazing in terms of the content. I mentioned at the time that I was happy finally that King Amusement Creative actually was putting an effort into delivering quality for their artists, because let's be honest, King Records has some of the best singers among male seiyuu in their repertoire, but when it comes to releasing music, they usually tend to rob fans. They try to say this is a new CD, but only has 3 or 4 songs in 12, which is not a new CD. Technically is, but the content isn't. So they usually try to do that to actually cash in a lot. And that's a practice that I don't like at all, because it is against, basically it plays against fans, because you are going to spend a ton of money getting songs that you already have, potentially. So right now, I'm quite happy with what they pulled off with Streak by Shoya Chiba. The CD is full of new content. Actually, we only have 2 old songs in there, which were previously released. Control and Blessing were the 2 songs that were previously released. They were title tracks in their respective CDs, but other than that, every single piece of content there was new. Let's say Harmonize was not new as well, because that was a pre-release single, which dropped earlier this year, which is completely different from what we are going to talk about, but still we are going to mention it. But I felt that we got a ton of content and a ton of value with any release or any version of Streak this time around. So any Shoya Chiba fan that gets this CD physical is going to get a ton of value for the money. Finally, a CD by King Amusement Creative or King Records, in which you are not paying for previously released songs with a new cover and it's ready to go. Nothing else is there to actually make you feel that you got something special there. And as we all know, usually people don't buy, let's say some people or most people don't buy physical media, so you need to actually have a really appealing package if you are trying to get people to buy something. And usually King Amusement Creative or King Records, they usually are not the most creative in that department. They try to cash in as easily as possible. I can understand they are a business, but still for fans it's a really bad practice, because fans feel that they are being robbed because they are paying for something that they already paid before, because the single's already previously released. In this case, for Shoya Chiba, it was obviously different, because Blessing was in the first EP and Control was in the first single, and the 2 songs were the leading tracks in those specific releases, and they were brought into this album. You didn't get any other songs here. I was dreading that they would bring Kanjuro and the other songs into the CD, and we would get basically a best-of with 2 new songs. Thankfully, we didn't. We got plenty of content, and I'm still not talking about the CD in specific, I'm talking about the specifications, but still, I feel that this is something that people, and it will detract a lot of people from buying a CD, is physical especially, is when you feel that you are being robbed, because the content already dropped and it is dropping yet again, but just in a different format, or in the similar format but in a compilation album of some sort. I like to see these from King Amusement Creative to finally give some value to the fans. I hope that this keeps on being a trend, but as we all know, they are a business. They may have done this because Shoya Chiba is not that big, but they may not do this with Mamoru Miano and Shotawai because they are really massive in comparison. So it is a case-by-case scenario in this case, but I'm thankful that Shoya Chiba actually got a really good value for money in here with this release, because Streak, the limited edition with the Blu-ray and the photo book, is quite massive in terms of the content. You even have the acoustic live show that he held last year in there. So you have tons of stuff from the music videos, lyric videos, and even that, and the making of all the music videos that were released up until now. That's a ton of content in the Blu-ray, which is not common for seiyuu artists. So I'm really happy that we got a really deluxe version that feels deluxe, for a change. Now, when we talk about the CD itself, one thing that I was really worried, that King Records would say, yes, let's go with pop music because that's what sells. And while I agree that Shoya Chiba can sing it all, and he can actually nail pop music really well, I feel that that's not necessarily the music genre that he likes the most. But if you actually listen to him talking in his radio show, read what he writes for that serialization corner that he has for a magazine, a seiyuu magazine, he often talks about rock music. Even online, he usually engages in conversations with Arthur Lounsbury about rock music, for example. So he's a big rock fan. So you would assume he would venture towards rock instead of having King Amusement Creative pushing him towards making pop music. And although he has had his moments with Kanjuro, for example, which is divine. That song is amazing. And I was not expecting to say that was the best song in Blessing. I was expecting Blessing, the title track, to be the best song because I love rock music, but actually it was a dance song that actually captured my attention really fast. And I'm going to say, in this CD, it was almost the same thing that happened. So yeah, we have a really fun rock-driven CD, so let's celebrate that, because King Amusement Creative, thank you for letting Shoya Chiba actually do rock music for this CD. We have tons of rock music here, and if you are a rock fan, you are going to be in for a treat, believe me. I enjoyed a lot all the songs. I have a couple of comments about the specific songs in this CD, so let's go through those instead of talking about the CD from top to bottom, because I feel that you guys actually heard that CD by now, or you are going to listen to that CD by now, and you are going to check the review if you haven't, which will be posted on the website. Either it is already or it's going to drop in the next couple of weeks, so do look forward to that. The website is going to be updated with tons of reviews. I already have 20 reviews that I've done in the last couple of days that are going to drop on the website. So the first comment is about You and Me, or You Me, and this song is the best rock song by Shoya Chiba. I'm not going to even soften these by saying, well, for now, no, it is the best song. I believe nothing is going to top these, but please, Shoya Chiba, try to top these, because if you top these, it's going to be unbelievably amazing. So yeah, I love this song. I love how he's packing tons of emotion on the vocal end. His long notes are something that will make you, and at least while I was listening to this song, I had goosebumps all over me. I was not expecting this song to actually hit me that hard emotionally, but it did. And that's something that I value a whole lot. When I'm listening to a song, I want to connect with it. Even if I'm not listening and paying close attention to the lyrics, I want the emotion in the voice, I want the emotion in the song to connect with me. And most songs actually leave me numb. There's nothing there to feel because there was no emotion there to begin with. The songs were performed as is, without any care whatsoever about how the emotions are being conveyed and how they will connect with the listener. But here, in You, Me, or You and Me, however you want to call this song, Shoya Chiba wrote the lyrics and actually performed with so much emotion that you are left with goosebumps all over. This is one of those rock songs that will shake you to your core. It is heart-wrenching at times, it is really beautiful at others, and it shows one thing that I love to say, that Shoya Chiba is a really good lyricist, and he should be writing more lyrics to his songs, because he has talent for that. He just needs a platform, and now he has his own platform. He's a solo artist. He just needs more confidence from King Amusement Creative to let him take the reins and write his own music, because he has talent. And he shows that plenty of times within this album that he's a really talented lyricist, and he has the potential to actually come up with really awesome things in the future. You, Me is a good example of that. If you listen to this song, this is going to wreck you completely. I was a wreck after this song. It has an amazing guitar solo as well. Not only the vocals are really going for high notes, really emotional, powerful, really intense, it will put you on the edge of your seat, but also the guitars are screaming in the background. You can feel the raw emotions in this performance. I feel it is one of the best songs in 2025 and the best rock song by Shoya Chiba by far. Honestly, I want more and more of these, if possible. Then we have, and another song that I wanted to talk about is Harmonize. I remember when the song dropped, a couple of you went to the comments in the forums or let's say the survey for the monthly review episode, and you said this was a slightly different song, but it was extremely enjoyable. I can understand you now. I listened to Harmonize, and I was left wanting more because, first of all, this is a really chill song. Loungy, from start to finish, it is a loungy song with really good vibes, really fun, with a really warm bass line. And what you have in the background will lead you to a really awesome performance on the vocal end by Shoya Chiba. It is super gentle, his voice, throughout the performance. The song is really, this is one of those songs that I want to have playing in the background while I work in something stressful, because it's going to slow down my pace, it's going to relax me, and I want that in my life. So if you are looking for a song to relax you a lot, with a really good voice on top and really good vibes underneath, this is the song for you. Harmonize is really, really warm. It's the kind of song that you want. It feels almost like it is hugging you throughout the performance. And I like this feeling of feeling protected, warm, cozy, relaxed and safe in a place. This is the vibe, the soundscape that is basically here is exactly that. It also has that sort of unplugged vibe, which I like a whole lot. The guitars are not screaming with big amps and everything else playing in the background to actually make an impact. The funky stuff is really subdued to the point that it feels like the guitars are unplugged and they are just playing next to you and nothing is really connected to anything. It's just a really intimate, cozy performance that you will want more of. And honestly, I was all in for this performance. Harmonize really stood out to me as one of the best songs in this release easily. And this was previously released, but I hadn't checked it because I basically don't check previews. And we have then, we have a couple of other songs which are crazy. But let's go to Night Thief. This song I mentioned when I was unboxing that I felt this is going to be a really sexy song. Slightly, I was a little bit off with my prediction. Still, I feel it is an alluring song. Not necessarily overly sexy or overtly sexy, which is not, but it is really fun. It feels like a type of song that you would feature as the theme song for a spy movie, in a way. It has that vibe of mystery with class and elegance all mixed up to create a really fun, mysterious sound that captures your attention. It has a ton of influences of jazz music in here, a lot of funk from funky guitars really leading the way in a sort of a wah-wah effect. We have brass in the background giving a ton of fun elements and fun things to play with in terms of the dynamics in the background. It is a really rich and fun instrumental, and then when the vocals kick in, it's a really 100% fun song. And I felt that, and I mentioned this on the review, Kanjuro would be the best dance song by Shoya Chiba, but I was off the mark because Night Thief actually takes that crown right now. I do love Kanjuro, don't get me wrong, I love that song. If that song starts playing, I know the lyrics by heart. But Night Thief may dethrone that song quite easily because the lyrics are still quite easy to understand and I may memorize those soon. So, ha 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 ha. Well, surprise, surprise, no one participated. So I went to check. I usually don't check the comments ahead of recording the videos because I want the reactions to be genuine, but we didn't have any feedback, so I will await for your feedback in the comments. But yeah, still, we have more to talk about, and we are going to talk about the monthly choice corner. So, I'm going to bring here 2 CDs, which I reviewed recently. So some of the songs may not be new to you, but they were new to me. In this case, in this specific episode. So, one of the things that I want to bring here is Erosion with Aim and Night. What? No, this was a lot to unpack because I am a big fan of Erosion. I love their sound, their aggressiveness on the vocal end, the way that they bring screamo, they have really harsh, hard guitars. But Aim and Night is nothing like that, which is a pity. Still I enjoyed, but I feel that they are diluting their sound to be more welcoming to new fans or fans that may not enjoy rock music as much, or at least the heavier brand of rock music that they were performing, which, mind you, Erosion is not even representative of heavy rock music. They are heavy in comparison with everything else that there is in the 2D music industry. They are not heavy by any means. I listen to heavier music. that maybe most of you would not even touch. So they are not even close to sounding heavy, but I feel that Reject felt the need to soften their sound in a way to bring in more fans potentially, because the group, the band, or let's say, was away for 1 year, 1 full year without releasing any music. And fans were wondering, where is the band? Is the band ever going to return? Because the solo CDs were really good. But what happened here? Because although they brought Ron to actually be in charge of the composition for Aim&Night, and that song is actually fairly good, I felt that it's not even the best song in this release, which is crazy because Ron usually does some of the compositions that I love the most in Reject's music, but this one wasn't it. I felt that the song was lacking their usual punch. I feel that if you remove the vocals from this performance, you cannot even notice that it is erosion. And that says a lot about the song. While it is a really good rock song, I feel it is fairly generic in the way that it approaches the sound, and it lacks a lot of the aggression and the violence that they brought to their music. Although the synths are still there, because Ron usually uses synths in his music, so Erosion was already using those in their music to begin with, so you won't notice that much of a difference. But if you pay close attention to their first songs, it's a massive difference, a massive leap downwards in terms of the quality and in terms of a song sounding like Erosions, which is a pity, but still fun. Aim&Night is a fun song. The song I liked the most, of course, was not Aim&Night, and that was, of course, let me double check the title. It was Macho, and that song is slightly different in terms of the vibe, which is good. Yet again, I like that. I like that variety that we have there. Still, it is a rock song, but more electronic rock driven than anything else that they have in the past. The synths are still there, but they play a massive role in this song. The piano is also there, helping the vocals shine, which is something that I appreciate a whole lot. I feel that we have the chants at the start, the chants as the pre-chorus, the chants in the bridge, and the chants actually work pretty well, but they bring an ethereal element to the song that I thought should have been more explored than it was. That's a missed opportunity, just in my opinion, a missed opportunity, because the song is really, really good. But if we could have explored that, we could have gotten something really amazing. Let's remind ourselves that Erosion has some of the best singers among male seiyuu in the lineup, and they could have done really amazing things if they kept exploring that ethereal vibe that they were going for in the intro with the chants and everything else. If they actually explored that, we could have gotten something even more amazing. Still, Macho is the best song in this release. Aim&Night, I was expecting more. I was expecting more from that song, especially because it was Ron basically composing it, but the song fell a little bit flat. Still enjoyable, but it felt a bit... it lacked that element that makes me want to jam along to a song, to headbang to a song. That was not there for me. That was what... basically, I feel it was missing with Erosion, is that Erosion songs make you want to headbang. As a rock fan, you will understand this, you want to headbang to a song, but these songs felt more pop-driven than rock-driven. Although they sound like rock, the way that they were executed is really akin to what or how pop music actually goes, not how rock music goes. So I feel it was a more open, and let's say that's a different approach. It is approach more focused on bringing more people into the franchise, but then again, you are bringing people into the franchise and they are going to want to check the music out, and they will come across the heavy stuff that you didn't want to showcase. So what gives? Why actually try to soften the sound if the fans, if they get into the group, they are eventually going to find the heavy stuff that you are not focusing on right now? I don't understand, but then again, it is Reject, so we don't know what they are going to pull off next. I hope the next CD is heavier in comparison. I haven't checked any previews, please don't spoil me in the comments. And now that I'm reviewing things on time, please don't spoil me in the comments. If this video is actually 1 month old, you can already spoil me, so do not worry. But I'm going to review this on time, and I hope that the song is heavier, or at least one of the two songs is heavier, closest to the sound that they had in other releases, more so than what they had in Aim&Night. I feel that the CD lost a little bit of potential that could have been explored there, because you have amazing vocals and you have a sort of an established sound, and even the structure of the way they are performing, with the screamo being reserved for Arthur Lounsbury and Shoya Chiba, and the other ones being more in charge of everything else from the high notes to the lower ones. I felt that that dynamic was nowhere to be found in the CD, which is a pity. It's a bit of a dilution of their identity as a group, let's say. I feel that's a ton of missed opportunities in there. Still, worth checking out if you are a fan of Erosion and you are missing Erosion like I was missing. So please go check it out. They have 3 consecutive singles dropping. It is July, August and September, so do look forward to those. The other one is going to drop later this month, so do look forward to that. I'm actually looking forward a lot to that CD and can't wait to dive into that. So hopefully it's going to be a good one. If not heavier, at least slightly better in terms of bringing back the things that the fans love about Erosion, with the aggression, with the way the vocals are performed and everything else in between. So yeah. The other CD that I want to bring into the conversation is Illuvista with Night for 2. Now, this was a release in January. And most of you are thinking, only now? Vanessa, only now? Did you review that CD? Yeah, only now. I have a massive backlog. I still have CDs from 2023 or 2022 to review, so don't come at me. I have tons of music to review that I have no time to review, and I'm trying to find as much time as possible right now to review the music. So right now I found, and I actually got to explore Illuvista's Night for 2. I will keep on saying I listen to Funfair songs and I listen to Illuvista songs, the ones that dropped in January and the ones that dropped in July, and honestly I like Illuvista more. That's the group that I like the most in the second batch of groups in the Versus Ambivalence franchise. Sorry, that's the group for me. Fanfare, not so much. I'm not enjoying their music at all. I'm struggling a lot listening to their music because that's not really my thing, and nothing really saves those songs for me. Although when I'm reviewing, I'm trying to be as neutral as possible, and then when I go to the considerations I actually dive into my impressions specifically. They are not the group for me. That's the conclusion that I have there. But Illuvista, on the other hand, they are the group for me. Not only do they have that sort of R&B style that I like a whole lot, they have a slower paced, warmer, mature sound to them, which I enjoy a whole lot. They also have a more cohesive vocal lineup, and I feel that this lineup is much more complete than the one that Funfair has. We have Makoto Furukawa with the low notes, we have Chiaki Kobayashi with the midtones, and we have Shintaro Asanuma with the really high notes, which is insane what he is doing on the vocal end. I feel that this lineup, this trio, is well balanced and they are doing amazing things on the vocal end. Their songs have an identity that I enjoy a whole lot. So far, those 2 songs are really enjoyable. I'm not going to talk about the 3rd CD that they released, or the 3rd single, because I don't like that one that much. But Night for 2 is really amazing, and I like what they are bringing there with that sound. It is gentle, it is romantic. Once again, I like the theme or the undertone to their music being romance. It suits them. It fits really well with their vocals, and it brings a different dimension to the Versus Ambivalence franchise. Not all groups are performing in the same sound with the same vibe, and I like this a whole lot. So I'm enjoying a whole lot this song, and Illuvista's Night for 2 was one of my top releases that I reviewed recently, which, let me tell you once again, I reviewed 20 CDs, and I'm not talking about every single CD because I've already reviewed some from August. So mind you, I'm already working really well and on time for a change. So I've reviewed tons of CDs, and this song really stood out to me, and is already in the playlist of the best of 2025 for sure. So yeah, that's an amazing release, and that's my second and last recommendation in the monthly choice corner. So now let's go to the Music in the Horizon corner, because since you guys didn't participate, this is going to be a really straightforward, really short episode because I don't have to talk with you, which is weird. Feels weird, but I hope you guys are enjoying this episode all the same. This episode is sponsored by all the Hand That Feeds HQ's patrons on Patreon. A big thank you for the support. Welcome to Music in the Horizon. So in this corner we are going to talk about the CDs that are going to drop in the next month, which is August, and we are already in August if you haven't checked your calendar, which I would understand because I haven't checked mine and I lost track of time. So yeah, there are a couple of releases that I'm really excited about. First of all, we have a joint single by Tasuku Hatanaka and Daiki Yamashita. I was not expecting that, but then again they had a joint live show early this year, so it was a matter of time before they collaborated. One thing that I find interesting is that they are from different music labels, and the different music labels are allowing them to work together, which is a massive plus. I like to see these, and I would love to see more collaborations between male seiyuu artists. Honestly, I'm still waiting for that Mamoru Miyano and Yumuchida collaboration, or Yumuchida and Soma Saito collaboration, or Soma Saito and Makoto Furukawa collaboration. Where are those? I don't know. I need those fast. I would also love to see Toshiki Masuda and Shota Oi collaboration, because as you have noticed and we had talked in the previous episode, they were amazing with Eclipse in the Visual Prison franchise, so I would love to see them together. Outside of that, in their specific solo careers, actually collaborating, that would be amazing. I would also love to see Shunichi Toki and potentially Toshiki Toyonaga collaborating, because that would be amazing. So there are a couple of seiyuu artists pairings that I would love to see happening. But I'm quite happy to see Tasuku Hatanaka and Daiki Yamashita teaming up, because they are two really strong vocals. I like them since the Yumeiro cast days, so I'm a big fan of both. I feel that they are both criminally underrated, which says a lot about how people tend to veer to the really popular seiyuu and then tend to forget about the others that are extremely talented but are not as famous, so they don't get as much attention, but they should get. But I'm really excited about that joint single. I may review it, time will tell if I have the time to review that, but I want to review that CD. Another one is Aupella's new CD, which has already dropped or is going to drop this week. I'm recording in the week of August 11, so this episode is going to drop exactly in the same week that I recorded it, so you are getting the freshest content at the freshest time. But yeah, I'm quite excited about Aupella in this case, and I can't wait to see what they have in there. It's been a while since I listened to Fame, Lil Happy and Vedlip. I actually want to hear more. I feel that the franchise should be more active. I've talked plenty about this in the previous episode. I feel that this is a franchise with so much potential. It had so much hype at the start, but it's eventually died down because they changed the people behind the project, and then they changed music labels completely, and the new management actually took some time to go over the project and see what they want to do in their roadmap. I feel that they lost a bit of momentum there, and then the fact that the new company is actually not putting that much effort into new music but putting a lot of effort into covers is making the project a bit redundant, because yes, you are bringing a ton of attention to the project by having seiyuu covering popular songs. So drop new music so that people can get into the project itself, not just the cover. This is something that is basic. This is 101 marketing. If you are bringing someone, attracting someone with a goodie, in this case, let's say a cover of a really popular song, people will get into that song and will think, I want to check more. and they will go through the covers and they will encounter the original songs, and they may become fans of the project because they found the original songs, but there's not too many original songs. That's a problem with this project. So whenever you want to show something to new fans, you don't have much to show, although the project is already around here for 4 or 5 years, which is crazy. That's not enough music right now to cover for this period of time, which goes to show the focus is not on the new music, it is on the novel idea of having seiyuu covering music in a cappella style, which I understand, that's awesome, but if you want the project to actually thrive and be popular, you attract people with a cover of a popular song, people get into that cover, they see the recommended video on the side, they click on that, it is another cover, and then it's going to direct to an original song. And then you get people into the funnel and you get people into the project itself. Instead of just saying, oh look, I watched basically a video of seiyuu covering a song. Okay, and people don't get into the project, they get into the covers. You want people to get into the project. That's the business mindset there. You want to bring them and make them fans of the project, not fans of the covers. I can understand that you want the money that YouTube gets from the ads, from the video going viral, but you should retarget that focus into making new music by the franchise, more music with more frequency, and ensure that the groups are active at least 4 times a year or 2 times a year, let's say. Not to rush things, at least 2 times a year, which they haven't been. They have been once a year at best. So that's a bit weird from them, but I'm really looking forward to Aopella. It's been a while since I listened to music by them, any of the groups, really. Of course, I'm really partial when it comes to Fame, my favorite group in this franchise. I also love Vedlip a lot. I'm really warming up to Lil Happy. I wasn't initially that into the group because I didn't like how they were all tenors. So all high voices, basically no one had deep voices, or percussion was not really a thing in that group, so there was something lacking there, but they are growing on me because the quality of their performances has been top tier. So I feel the Aopella franchise has a ton of potential to be explored. I just want the franchise to be more active, because this is one of those franchises in which I wouldn't be complaining if they were active more frequently, like other franchises are basically every month, for example. I wouldn't say to have new music every month, because that's not sustainable. But I would say every 3 months it would make sense. If not a full single, at least one new song, which is easier to package, and it is easier to release as a digital release. You don't even need to sell a CD, it's much easier. It is a fast release process, and that's a really good strategy when projects want to save money and they want to release music fast. I feel that should be the approach for Aopella. But now I'm diving into business and I'm diving into market, and that's my job outside of here, so I don't want to talk about that more. Then I have, of course, I'm quite excited about a new release by Erosion. I already talked about aim&night. I was not really that big of a fan of aim&night, but I want more by Erosion, and I want them to bring heavy music, please. Please. I don't even care who is composing the music this time around, because I was excited about Ron, and Ron actually provided the worst song in that release. So I'm really just thinking I want some composer to actually capture their sound, their original sound and vibe, and bring that to the spotlight, please. It's not that hard to actually capture that. Just need to look at what they did and improved on that, basically. And especially the individual songs or the solo songs that they released. They had group songs in those releases. Those were amazing. They are the best showcase of what Erosion can do and what you can explore with Erosion, to not make them sound unlike them, if you know what I mean. So I'm really excited about Tasuku Hatanaka and Daiki Yamashita's joint single, Aopella's new CD, and Erosion's new CD. So let's see what we get in August. There's plenty of more releases, believe me. I may be missing a ton of those in this month. I know that Sawara actually released a CD recently. Anokoro. So I'm going to also drop that suggestion here, or something that I'm really excited about. I feel that it dropped early in August, or maybe it dropped later in July. Regardless, I didn't cover that CD, so I'm also excited about that one. But yeah, these are the CDs that I'm most excited about in August 2025. In the next episode, of course, we are going to dive into those CDs specifically, so do look forward to that, because I'm quite excited about diving into that. And now, since we don't have anything for the Ask Vanessa corner, I'm going to keep this episode short because I don't have much to say, beyond the fact that you are getting this episode on time. For the very first time in 8 months, finally I'm back on track. Once again, back on track. So I keep bringing the puns by Solids here, and I'm becoming a pun-driven fan, which for Solids is usually on brand. But yeah, I'm back on track when it comes to being on top of the reviews. The reviews are going to start dropping on the website in due time. Please be patient, because one thing is to write the review, and one CD with 2 or 3 songs, maybe 15 minutes for you to listen, but it is 1 hour for me to review, and then to write, and then to bring to the website, and bringing to the website and preparing the article and then sharing. It takes another extra hour per CD. I have 20 CDs. You can already imagine the toll it's going to take on me. So please be patient. The CDs and the reviews will be arriving in due time. Do know that I have reviewed a ton of stuff. Some old stuff, some new stuff. I'm going to drop the CDs as I have some free time, so do look forward to that. The website is going to be updated yet again, so do not worry. Content is going to come. News are going to start being covered starting from September. This month I'm still not covering news because I need to redirect my attention to the reviews. But starting in September, I'm back to covering news and everything else. I suspect we are going to get a really busy Q3, later Q3, early Q4, for sure. I don't know why, but I feel that some of the biggest players are going to be active in October and November. And one of them really is a big fan of December. Let's see if he is going to be active in December. You know who I'm talking about. I have him split basically all over my bedroom. Which is weird to say. Let me retcon that. You already know it's Sama Saito. He might be active by the end of the year. He was recording a song, or was recording, and when he says that he's recording in June, he usually releases a CD either in October or December. And since we are in August, he's not going to announce a CD for October unless he's going to not promote the CD, like he did with Fictions. That's a different thing. But maybe he's going to announce something within this month, early September, saying that he's going to drop a CD, an EP in December. And please, please let that be an EP, a conceptual EP. Because Fictions was good, but not memorable. And that's something that is really messing me up whenever I try to remember the titles of the songs in Fictions. I barely remember any. And when it comes to My Beautiful Valentine, and Bloom, and Yin Yang, I remember the titles of all the songs. Fictions was slightly forgettable, and I don't want the next TP to be like that. So yeah, it was a really good one, but still, I was expecting more. In hindsight, I was expecting more. Couple of updates, because we are going to get a couple of episodes, viewable podcast episodes, in the next couple of weeks. I feel starting from August 29, you are going to get a viewable podcast episodes. They are going to be 5 viewable podcast episodes. I brought back my friend Kotaro to actually dive into songs and artists he never actually listened before. I'm not kidding, he had never listened to seiyuu music before or 2D music before, so he really is discovering that music for the very first time, and it is a really good time. I already finished the edits and the episodes are already scheduled on the channel, so do look forward to those episodes of the podcast. Those are really fun, slightly longer than usual. We are talking about episodes rounding 30 to 50 minutes each, but there's a ton of value there because I learned a ton of things that I didn't pay too much attention on the vocal end, that are really technical things that only Japanese people would know. and in this case Kotaro was amazing to actually share those with me and you all if you are going to check those episodes. So I hope you guys have a ton of fun with those episodes. If episodes with guests are not really your thing, you can skip those until the end of September, because the episodes are going to run until the end of September, and after that I'm back with those non-viewable podcast episodes in which I talk about anything and everything which comes to my mind, basically, which has a 50% chance of being either Tsukipro or Soma Saito related at least. So yeah, this is all from me for this episode. This is a really full blast, really fast episode of the monthly review feature. I'm really happy that I actually got to do this on time for the very first time in a while, and I have been really excited and happy about reviewing music. So I'm back with my mojo. I feel that I'm back in my groove and I can review music with a smile on my face yet again. So let's see what the next months have for me in terms of quality and variety of music, and I'm also going to dive into the music that was released early this year and start reviewing it, and I may bring that to further or next episodes of the podcast, as well as episodes of monthly review as well. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this episode and for sticking around. Don't forget, you can participate in the next episode. I'm quite looking forward to your impressions. So yeah, that's all from me, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.